Enjoying the nerdy good fun?
Yes!
Yeah, excellent. How many of you have heard of this little franchise called Dragon Ball Z?
I have!
Woo! Well, lucky for all of us, we have some of the wonderful folks who worked on those shows here with us. So we're going to get this panel started. Let me first introduce Monica Rial.
Yeah!
Played Bluma. Yes, this one. Next we have Cynthia Cranz, who played Chi-Chi.
Yes!
Then we have Lindy Young, who played Frieza.
Oh yeah!
We have Paul St. Peter, who played Sorbet in Dragon Ball Super.
Oh. I'm guessing he didn't
Next
play him
we
in the
have Peter
Resurrection
Kelamis,
Path.
who played Goku.
Yeah! One of the originals.
We have Mark Britten, who played multiple characters in the Funimation 1999 dubs.
Yeah!
And then last but certainly not least, we have Terry Klassen, who played Krillin.
Yeah!
So thank you for all joining us here. I'd like to give everybody sort of a way to start out by just telling us your origin story about how you got involved with the franchise. So we can start with Terry.
I got involved when Dragon Ball Z started. It was with Funimation, and I was in Vancouver, and they came up. A guy who's now a friend of mine was the producer, Barry Watson. He was a big part of that. We all auditioned, we did the voices, so we were the original voices of the Dragon Ball Z character way back in the day. And so, yeah, it's been a great experience. And you guys, this is the first thing I'm going to point out. Dragon Ball Z fans are so dedicated and they know the stories. You guys know characters, so thanks for coming out. This is really cool.
Yes, and so he was on the Ocean dub, which is what was known as the Canadian dub. And the thing is, you can tell the difference because after every line they say A. Yeah. Instead of huh. So. So anyway, I got involved in the Funimation dub. After the Ocean dub, they came to Texas, and I answered an ad in the back of a classified newspaper that said they were looking for cartoon voices, and that's how I got involved. So.
I had answered a similar ad, but it was way different than what the show was, so I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's scams out there. I'm shocked. I came into the show, originally Ian Corlett was the official first Goku in North America, and he left the role, and they held open auditions. Now, me and Ian are still friends to this day, and we have a similar cadence in voice. I might be a touch deeper, but you know, we would audition against each other a lot. We would work with each other a lot on projects, and I guess they thought that I was enough in the range that I got the part. And we really didn't know back then a whole lot about the show. They literally had to explain certain things to us, like, I remember they said, okay, well, you're going to go Super Saiyan. I'm like, what is that? And, well, you know, it's kind of hair, like, changes, and I was like changes, like a perm? Those are perms. No, just color. Okay, I can do that.
I was approached by a studio in Los Angeles because they were going to be doing a version called Dragon Ball Super that was going to be playing, supposedly, only in Southeast Asia. And I didn't audition for the role. They just said, come on in. That happens to be a lot, which is a good thing. They put the picture up, and I didn't know anything about it either. Really didn't know
So we only get him in the other
so
dub.
I said, is that sorbet? I said, good guess. Because I would have said sorbet. Because sorbet isn't that something chilled that you get with a spoon? But there it was, you know. So we did our bit. For those of you, spoiler, does anybody not know what happens to me? Anybody? You all know? Good. Yeah. because my last episode was 3 Qs. Lord Frieza. No! Yeah, that was my finish. Yeah. The problem is they didn't tell me that it was my last episode. No, and that was very upsetting because you do, I don't care what anybody says, we do get attached to the characters, okay? And so I then find out 5 minutes into my session that my session is over because he got shot right in the... And then to cap the story off, within 3 months it was already on Adult Swim, so it came right back here from Southeast Asia. But that's how I got into it. They just called me and said we needed to come and do a character.
And mine is similar to Mark's. I also answered the ad, and it was an open audition, and they didn't really tell you much, just that it was some voice like cartoon work or Japanese cartoon. So I also went, and I didn't see the ad, my girlfriend saw it. So it didn't come from my agent, and my girlfriend talked me into going because I was cleaning the house, and when I clean the house I don't like to leave it, but because I had to get ready, you know. So then I got ready and everything, and she said, well, we can go to lunch. And she loved going to lunch, so I thought, okay, I'll go so I can go to lunch with Patty. And you do too.
Yes, I do.
So, well, we'll do that soon. So I just went to that, and it was up at the top of a bank building, and they had a tape recorder out that you had to listen to voices, and then you had to go into the little booth and try different voices. And that's how I ended up getting the part of Frieza.
Yeah! Love you, Frieza!
I do like lunch. Like a lot. I have a very similar story. A friend of mine saw the ad in the paper and said, you should go do this. And I kept saying okay and not doing it. And finally, I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard of anime. Yeah, that's so I went and tape recorder, voice matching, and ta-da!
Magic. So I have a very different story. So I've known Chris and Eric and Sean since we all started in about 1999, but I was in Houston. And so I watched Dragon Ball Z in Spanish before it ever came to the States because my grandparents are in Spain, and it would come on Saturday mornings, and my brother doesn't speak Spanish very well, so I translated all of Dragon Ball Z for him. Oh my God. So I always joke that I played every character in Dragon Ball Z before I was ever a part of it. But I came along in Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I remember Chris calling me in to audition, and Bulma pops up on the screen, and I'm trying to play it cool. I don't know who she is, even though I voiced her all through Z in my own, like, my grandmother's living room. So I do my audition, and one of my favorite memories ever was being able to call my brother and being like, you're not gonna believe what I just auditioned for. I totally broke NDA, don't tell Simon. But I did tell him, and being able to call him and being like, yo, guess what? I'm gonna be Bulma. And he was like, just tears. We both had tears, so it's a very special moment. This show is so special to all of us, I think, in different ways.
Well, that's a wonderful segue. Anime, you know, for a long time was here in the States, but it was very underground. Dragon Ball Z, in many ways, sort of break mainstream, right? So what do you think is what are the reasons why Dragon Ball was such an iconic franchise that drew so many people in?
Well, one of the reasons I think is because when it started, at least in the United States, they had to wait a week before they saw the next episode. So it was like a fun little thing and something unique, and they go talk to their friends and wait for the episode and run home from school. And I think it just kind of brought a bonding of a sort. And it was something you had to wait for. It wasn't just there and you could see it at that time. You had to wait for it. So it was really special. And I also just think because the show is good versus evil, which is always a good topic, and they always want the good to win, but they love to hate the villains also. So those are two of the reasons, I think. Anyone? Anyone?
I was mentioning earlier to someone that Dragon Ball is a bit different. Growing up on watching cartoons, the old cartoons, it's a writer's. Sorry, did I say something wrong? Oh, it's a firecracker. Yeah, as long as they don't come.
Not your fault.
The old cartoons, the writers have a rule: there can be no breaks in the sound because children are watching, and give them 5 seconds, they will get distracted. So that's why it's the dialogue is on and on and on and on. What I love about Dragon Ball is that I will channel flip, come to the show, and two characters are hovering and glaring at each other, but they're not saying one thing. And I adore that. That is so refreshing. And so that's one of the things about Dragon Ball is you really do get to come to your conclusions during the silences. What's going to happen next?
I just think that the attraction was like the characters. Although on paper, you know, like if you were first pitching Dragon Ball to like a producer, it's like, okay, this guy's got a tail, comes from another planet, and eats a lot of beans.
I love it.
We're in.
I'm in, yes, I'm in.
How much money you need? Let's do this. And that was a thing too, like Akira Toriyama named a lot of the characters after food. This is a fact. Like,
Oh, he sure did.
Vegeta, I don't know what a Krillin is, but it sounds delicious.
Where'd he go?
Any other thoughts?
I think that's all. I don't have any insight in that.
I think one of the things, at least what I like about it, is it's hilarious. Like, since I'm not in the fighting scenes and all that, I'm always at home being a nag and a pain. But
That's why we love Chi-Chi.
Like the random characters, like if I'm watching the tournament, rooting for my kid, it's the random things that the people in the audience say to the other characters. I think they're hilarious. No, the things they say, like no-name characters say hilarious things.
Well, the other thing too is when I used to watch cartoons as a kid, they were like Rocky and Bullwinkle, and this going way back. But even Scooby-Doo, it was like every episode was just their little adventure. Dragon Ball Z was something that came along from Japan, and they had a saga. It was a journey. It started somewhere, and it went over years. And the characters developed over years, whether it was Goku, Krillin, and the multiple characters. And I think as fans watching it, you got involved with the story, and it progressed and progressed. And yeah, it was a big change for animation or watching animation as far as I can see.
I'm going to keep that answer. I'm going to use that next time I'm in a panel.
That's a good one.
That was one of the best answers. I'm like, yeah, because it was a full story. So, and I didn't realize that until I was this years old.
And speaking of old, we age. That is so weird. I went from a teenager to a grandmother. On, TV, not in real life.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I thought you meant real life.
I know.
Because I haven't aged at all. So.
I mean, most cartoons, they don't age the characters. So I think that's
Oh yeah.
weird, but...
You're right.
I love that we
Pokemon,
had
at least.
really great fashionable changes of clothing over the periods. Like, it's not like this episode's every scene's different.
Well, see, I didn't have a chance to get old because they shot me. But a little bit about Sorbet. It is really fun to play a character that is very snide and very dominating until he gets around Vegeta and goes. So I was a weasel, And
at this point, I'd like to open it up to the audience to give them some chance to ask questions. So, I see someone right there.
For all of you, what was your favorite moment voicing your characters in Dragon Ball?
Sorry, what was the, can you repeat the question? Favorite moment?
Favorite moments? Yeah.
Mine is when I got the part.
I love the scene where Chi-Chi makes Piccolo and Goku go get driver's license.
Oh my God! That was a great episode.
Yeah, his response though, which one's the brake? This is going to go well. Where's Goku? He's driving to come and save somebody. It might take a while.
I think one of my favorites is an episode from Super where Bulma is kind of buddying up to Whis to protect her family, and then Vegeta comes down and tells everybody her favorite food is ramen, and she freaks out. It reminds me a lot of Sabbath and Ian because we go on a lot of food adventures, so sometimes I'm like, this is like real life, but we're acting it out with Dragon Ball.
My favorite part of Dragon Ball Z was cigarette breaks in between hours of takes. I used to go downstairs with Justin Cook and Christopher Sabat, and we all had the habit of smoking cigarettes, so it helped with the voice if I could get a little more cigarettes, right?
Mine might be the reverse of that.
definitely.
What are your favorite moments? The hardest moments were when you have to yell a lot and do all that. We call it walla. It's basically like anything. If Krillin's falling, you have to go, just a big old scream. Ah! You're just like by the end of a session, you're tasting blood in your throat. And you sort of, you watch the character on the screen, he might have to fall like 200 feet, and you're going, when is this going to end? It was a lot of fun moments doing it. The characters sort of lived. We had to bring them to life off the page, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun doing that.
To add to that, the screaming, like there's so much that you would end an episode and you're like, ah! And then it would end. And then sometimes it would be weeks before we started the next episode, and you're like, oh yeah, what were we doing in the previous episode? Months.
Well, I have to say my favorite moment was when I arrived at the studio, and again, I didn't know anything about this. I thought, well, they do the show in Texas, don't they? No, this time we're in LA. And they brought up the character on the screen for me, and they said, come up with a voice. And we've all had that experience. They throw a character up, okay, come up with a voice, no pressure. So I looked at the guy's face, I looked at the lines of dialogue, and when I came up with the voice, I loved the look in their eyes. The director and the engineer, everyone in the booth, all looked at me. They were so happy because I came up with that voice. That was a wonderful moment before I even said a word.
Which voice?
Yeah.
Well, for Sorbet, similar to a couple of others that I did, but I made this one a little bit more raspy and nasally. Lord Frieza, let me be the one to serve you. And so I just made it up when I looked at the picture. Oh, thank you. But if you look at the look in the character's eyes, it's so perfect. And he's so perfect as the weasel when he gets in. No, do not. I'm afraid. How can I serve you?
I think the voices are, when you nail it, it's so important, because I remember, this isn't a Dragon Ball Z reference, but it's a Star Wars reference, when David Prowse, who was the man in the suit of Darth Vader.
Yes.
When they filmed the movie, they had him doing his lines. Now we all know James Earl Jones, I am your father. That's what we're used to. But when you see footage, and you can look it up, David Prowse is doing his, and it's kind of laughable. It's kind of Welsh, almost Scottish accent. You're a rebel spy, you're on the shit. Get hit, eh?
You are part of the rebel alliance and the traitor. Take it away.
Yes.
Take it away.
What do we look up to find it on YouTube?
I think original Star Wars unedited footage, Darth Vader.
We have a question from this side of the audience.
Yeah, you guys have been working probably for decades when you combine all of your work together. So this is decades of experience. What's the difference you notice about yourselves from when you started to now?
I don't know if there's a difference. I think like anything, especially in acting and stuff like that, I think you learn how to kind of manage your energy and manage your voice better over time. Because initially you're so excited and you want to, kind of showboat a bit and make them proud of what you're doing, or impress them is the word I'm saying. I'm trying to find. You're trying to impress everybody, and a lot of times you can really burn out your throat, like what Terry was saying. And I think I've learned to kind of control the energy a bit more.
Well, for me, my vocal instrument has gotten better over the years. This is my 41st anniversary of animated.
Happy anniversary.
So my voice has gotten better and my body has gotten worse over this period of time. Well, seriously, I've noticed that I've been able to, very luckily, adapt with the technology. When I began, there were no beeps. When I began, we had to actually dub according to the time codes. So if the cue came at 2 minutes, 17 seconds, and 4 frames. And so you had to be able to be on it like that. The tech now with Pro Tools and all this stuff, and they can move your voice around and compress it and do all this stuff. That has made it easier in some ways. But one thing I've been very happy with was no matter what the adaptation is. So far, knock on wood, I've been able to adjust for that.
I guess with me, if it's about me, what do I notice that changed about me? Even though I was an actress before I got the part of Frieza, and I did all different types of acting, but never where you had to match the flaps, the dubbing thing. I had done other dubbing, but you didn't have to match it. So I'd say I was a little nervous about that. So it made me a little more timid about what I might do with my voice because I was concentrating on matching the flaps. But then as time went along, you get used to a rhythm. There's a rhythm. And you don't even have to watch the mouth that much. I mean, you've got this rhythm down, like the Japanese have a rhythm in their speech. And so many people that dub are also musicians because it makes sense. It's like a music. So once I got the rhythm, because at first we had paper scripts and I'd have to look down and look up. And I thought, how am I going to match this? I have to memorize too. But now, with the rhythm, it's been a lot easier, and I think I'm a lot freer with my voice and what I'm going to do, and I take bolder choices and things like that. That's probably the biggest difference about me. But I still have my range, my same range from low to high, so I'm happy about that. But I'm a singer too, so I think that helps.
The difference for me was I used to have hair. That's mainly the only difference. I only did Dragon Ball Z, just the original Dragon Ball Z here in the US. I did not stay to do any of the others. I don't enjoy being in the booth. It's not something that I enjoy. I enjoy doing live stand-up. I was a stand-up comedian for 12 years before I got my audition for Dragon Ball Z. I am still a stand-up comic to this day. I started with Ron White in Arlington, Texas. And so that's basically it. But nothing's changed besides my hair.
Yeah, well, doing ADR, that's what we call it, is really tough because you literally sit in a booth looking at a screen. You try to memorize a line before you do it so that you can watch the flaps go. And I came from what I was doing before was voiceovers for radio and TV, but then I did original cartoon voices. And there you can ad-lib, you can do whatever you want because the animators draw that later. If you're doing anime, you're restricted to what's already been drawn. So it's a tough art. And yeah, once you get the character down, like you're talking about rhythms, then it becomes a lot easier.
Well, it's been 27 years. A lot of things have changed. Some for the better. I don't know. I got better at, matching flaps. That happened. And I got a friend of mine from play into Funimation. And then she introduced me to my now husband, so that worked out. And I never thought that I would have fans. I was a working actor in the commercials, infomercials, corporate training videos, theater, lots of theater, but I never thought I'd be signing an autograph. So that was a change for sure.
I think for me, the main thing is my confidence. When I started voice acting, because I was made fun of, like my whole childhood, oh gosh, people are like, you sound like a mouse. What's wrong with you? Do you not have any breath support? So I had to teach myself how to talk like this. So it actually worked out really well. I trained myself to be a voice actor before I ever even knew. But when I started in anime, I gave them this voice. And they're like, what are you doing? I do commercial stuff, and they're like, no, we want the sound that's coming out of your face right now. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I was shocked, and after all of these years, my confidence has grown steadily, and I tell you what, all of that stuff about affirmations, I believe it, and here's why. I now get to play a whole bunch of really badass ladies, and because of that, thank you. Because of that, I actually believe now that I too am a badass lady. So get in your mirror, tell yourself you're awesome, and I tell you eventually you're gonna believe it even if you don't know.
Mom, will you hold the camera?
I will.
Oh, one thing has changed. I didn't used to yell at my husband. Sabbath had to teach me the Chi-Chi yell, and now instead of yelling at Goku, he likes to push my buttons a lot for fun. That's his way of flirting. But out of my mouth comes, which never in my life would I've ever done before that character.
Okay, I have a question. Let's see. At any point in Dragon Ball Z, like the stuff that some of you guys didn't dub voices onto, once they switched over to Funimation and from the Ocean dub in the Ginyu and Frieza sagas, Terry, Peter, have you ever had regrets not doing that part of the show?
We were never really given an opportunity to, because it was an entire company move from Vancouver down to Dallas. So it was like this chapter has ended and a new chapter began with all of these amazing actors. So it wasn't really an opportunity that we had. So it was just, like I say, the end of something and the beginning of something else for other people. So we didn't really get a chance to do that.
And I kept working on the show as well. I didn't do the voices, but after it left from Vancouver, I kept writing on it. Like I said, a friend of mine was a producer on the show. And so what we would do, I would get, this is back in the days before you could do it just on your computer. You had to use a VCR with time codes and stuff like that. So I would get the English, a rough English translation, and I had to rewrite that. And I had to rewrite it in the original Japanese. If anybody's ever watched the original Japanese Dragon Ball Z, they had series of heavens that we could go to. But in the United States, because of sort of the Bible Belt, we couldn't mention any of that. So we changed a lot of stuff in Dragon Ball Z to fit an American audience, and coming up with cool phrases that the characters can say. And also Japanese is such a different language than English is, we had to match the flaps. Because something in Japanese might go on and on and on, and all they said in English was, everything's going, and it just, you had to rewrite all of that and make stuff up. So I kept working on the show, and that was a lot of fun. And And then the actors probably cursed at me for giving too many words for them. That doesn't fit the flaps.
Yes, we were cursing you.
I would like to have been involved with the character a lot sooner. It's quite true, they'll take a project from one city or one country, a different country, and suddenly it's in our laps. And the directors, producers get together and say, they'll ask the director, your stable of actors, your people who are your favorite, who would you like to assign? How do you see a person sounding with that character voice, and what person do you know that has that? Would have been nice to have been introduced to the character a lot sooner, but such is the way it goes. I've done some things that have been simply one studio to another in Los Angeles, and there's been a 3-year break. I forget the name of the show, but they quit working on it. I didn't know what the story was. I go to a different story, Salami. I went to a studio, Salami Studios. And I got in there and they put the picture up on the screen. I said, oh, that's where it ended up. And here we are. I can't even remember the character. What did I sound like?
So, going back to that first question about like what your favorite moment was, I kind of want to know what your guys' favorite line was, or what line you had the most fun with voicing your character.
Have you guys seen Daima? Yeah. The one about the bass. I'm not going to do it right now. That's by far. I went in to see Sean while he was recording, and just to say hi, and I walked in the studio and he threw his headphones down and like slammed open the door and he goes, you have the best line in the whole show. And I was like, sorry. My favorite lines are less Chi-Chi and more Mrs. Briefs. I play her stepmom. And I love it because she's so bimbo. She's always watering plants and
oh, it's a stepmom?
Oh my, you're so handsome. Would you like a snack? I love her. I wish she was in it more.
Oh.
I don't have any favorite lines. All the lines are so good. But as I told some of you, my husband's favorite line is, up goes the weasel. I love you, Frieza!
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's what made Goku go Super Saiyan.
There are a number, I mean, we all remember a lot of iconic lines from Goku, but there's some that are kind of sketchy. You know, that you read and you're like, what? You know, stuff like, wait, Wiz is an angel, but he has no wings, and his butt's not hanging out. Like, that's how you identify an angel, by how much of their butt is hanging out. Everybody knows this. And another one that was sketchy was, the ocean is so salty because everyone pees in it. This isn't the geography knowledge of Goku. That's why it's salty, everybody. Yeah, Terry, are you responsible for that one?
Okay, yeah, that was before him, according to him.
I'm going to remember the bee thing.
Now he's now created trouble. They're sitting next to each other. They're going to discuss this P line. So my favorite line was, Did you write that? No, he didn't write that one either. So my
Especially
favorite
if
line
it's
was
just screaming.
Berter is battling Goku. Goku says, I think I'm faster than you because of my diet. And Berter says, your diet, huh? Well, you'll be eating my fist next.
I like Jace more.
I got nothing. I'm just listening to these guys.
Oh, yeah, he was being Berter, wasn't he?
I actually remember another line that I got a kick out of. I believe it was in the movie Dead Zone, when he's fighting off all these androids. And one was a larger kind of balloon-like android, and and he hits him through, flies through his stomach, and then he goes, and he lands on the ground, and then Goku lands, and he says, that trouble lard was a good warm-up.
I reviewed that movie.
But the ocean is so salty because...
But I did the Funimation dub. Not the one with him.
So the ocean is so salty. I never got a chance to pee in it. Because they killed me.
I don't pee.
I don't want to know.
I have to pee right now.
Okay, taking a different turn here. Can we have the next question before somebody pisses right here?
Hi, let's see. So first off, Peter, you said that Dave Prost was Welsh. It sounded like he was a darker version of Scotty. Is that? I don't know. Anyway, we hear a lot of fans go on about how Goku could probably solo different anime verses. Why haven't we heard about Bulma outsmarting geniuses in other anime verses?
That is a good point. I will say, my husband calls Bulma the Iron Man of Dragon Ball. He's like, she just needs to get off her butt and make a mech that she can use. I really want her to fight because I think she's got so much bottled up anxiety for these boys and she can't take it out on them. So she's like, man, just let me hit somebody that's not Vegeta. I have to say, I love that Bulma has grown into such a great role model. You know, when we started out, she wanted the Dragon Balls to get a boyfriend. And now, I mean, she's still using the Dragon Balls for nefarious things, but at least, you know, for young ladies, it's like, hey, she's a scientist. She does this. These boys would be lost without her. When they were going off to another planet, she literally gave the god of destruction her baby and said, peace out, I'm going with them. So I think she's a really great role model for strong ladies, but yeah, she needs more recognition.
Vegeta's lucky to have her for a wife.
He is lucky to have, you need to tell Vegeta that, please.
Vegeta, you're lucky to have Bulma for a wife.
Chris Sabat and Brian Drummond aren't here, though. Well,
I watched this show as a kid with my dad.
Do you guys voice any other characters?
Do you mean in Dragon Ball Z or just from other projects?
Like anything.
So I think as voice actors, yeah, this is kind of the cool thing about coming to conventions because you get to see our banners and you say, oh wow, I had no idea you voiced that person or this person. A lot of people come to my table and they're like, I didn't know you were Rolf and Goku, and I have a print that's a mashup of both of them.
I am a wiener.
Rolf with Goku's lower body, with a speaker bomb saying, you dare mock the son of a shepherd! So, that's the cool thing about these things. Yeah, I think we've all done a tremendous amount of other characters, and every one of them it's a fun gig. If you get an opportunity to be a voice actor, it's a fun gig.
Any Miraculous Ladybug fans here?
Oh, yeah.
I am Master Fu, but do not tell anyone I'm here because the Hawkmoth is looking for me.
I'll take him on.
So we must keep secret.
But also on the opposite end of the spectrum from Naruto.
I am Gudama, the nine-tailed demon fox. Give me your chakra, and I will give you
But what Peter said, perfect. We get to be a million personalities and a lot of different sounds and characters, so it is wonderful.
To start to wrap the panel up so we can get you back to your table to meet the fans one-on-one, actually give the opportunity to tell fans if you have any social media where they can find you, or podcasts, or anything else that you want them to look for.
You guys, you can find me predominantly on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I've been kind of lazy lately. I'm at Rialisms, RIALISMS. I can't say too much, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm so excited for you guys and all of the new stuff that's coming. It's a wonderful year to be a Dragon Ball fan, so congratulations to all of you. It's gonna be epic.
Thanks, Monica.
Well, Facebook won't let me back on. It thinks I need a double authentication and then it just sends me in loops and won't let me start a new account. So I used to be on the Facebook, and now I'm just on Instagram, and it's just my name.
Yeah, Facebook didn't kick me off yet. So I'm just Linda Young on that, and then on Instagram it's at Linda Sorta, and then I'm still on Twitter, X, whatever they call it.
I hate
and
X.
I'm at Linda Young, and a lot of times I'm on Cameo and do cameos, but I'm not on there right now. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
You can find me at Paul St. Peter 1 on Instagram. My Facebook is the Paul St. Peter fan site. Look for me there. And if you want to get the cooking Paul St. Peter and the creative Paul St. Peter when it comes to things I do in the kitchen, find me under Rene St. Peter. That's my middle name. I'll be on Cameo maybe pretty soon. I keep getting approached.
You find me on Instagram on The Ocean is Salty at Instagram. It's just my name. It's at Peter Kelamis on Instagram, so please send me a message or follow, and I will follow back. And one thing I got coming up, I got a feature film coming up. It's a horror comedy called Frank Stein MD, as in Frank Stein, medical doctor. And I get to play a version of Igor, and it was a whole lot of fun to do, so please keep an eye open.
Persona Igor?
You can find me on social medias by typing KidWalk, K-I-D-W-O-K, that's my nickname. My stage name for comedy is Chinaman. I've been Chinaman since 2000. So you can find a lot of my comedy clips online under Chinaman, one word, there you go.
And I'm just Tony Klassen, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram, so it'd be cool to talk to you guys too. But anyway, I really want to thank you guys for coming out and listening to us. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So please help me thank.
Yeah!
Thank you. And also to second that, thank you all for coming out, because cons don't happen if y'all don't show up. So thank you.